Hey everyone, it's Carm Capriato, and it is Aftermarket Weekly Live once again, episode 57. And we are, as I've been promising you, live from Dorman. What a headquarters this is, 400,000 square feet. I almost got lost today doing a great tour and just getting to know the people here at Dorman, and it was great. So I have a great guest host, but yes, we are coming to you live from the Dorman OE Fix Studios, no matter even if we are traveling, and we have the mobile studio, G. We are absolutely here in the Dorman studio. And by the way, one of the most unique podcasts and or live events in the industry, pulling all kinds of aftermarket professionals together for the good of our wonderful, wonderful industry. Hey, if you're going to be with us and hanging out on social media, because there's a lot of fun stuff going to happen today, check in with your city, give us a like, a comment, and or share. We are live on Facebook. We are live on LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, and it looks like Instagram too. Thanks, Tracy, for putting us up on Instagram. If that's the case, that's wonderful. Welcome, Jerry Trulia, and he's standing here to my left, I believe. I'm not sure what part of the camera or the screen, but there's G, and actually,
how are you, Carl?
Yeah, great, man. From ATTS, the Automotive Technician Training Services, from TST, Technician Service Training. You do all kinds of webinars with the team, not only here at Dorman, as you work so hard with Dorman, taking training out to the industry, G, but your own shop, Auto Clinic in Mahopac, New York.
That is correct, Carl.
Wow, you're a busy guy. I don't understand how you do it. I mean, when you get old, you're supposed to slow down. All right, okay, all right. And also with us is Jim Lucas, the Vice President of Product. And I think, G, let's try to just clean that up a bit, and we can separate the two shots. Jim Lucas, VP of Product. Hi, Jim.
Hey, Carm, how are you?
Great. I have to tell you something. We're going to actually show a real great video here coming up soon, and a couple of pictures of what yesterday and today was like. What a phenomenal organization. What I left with, Jim, is an incredible culture that I see going on inside this company. G, how's business?
Business is phenomenal. It really is good, Carm. People are coming out and getting their vehicles repaired. So that is good. And the training end has also been very good.
And you know, G, I continue to ask everybody who comes on the show, how's business? And everyone that I talk to says business is great. And I hope it's great for you as you listen. There's a nice wide shot there. We're all standing here behind the obligatory orange Dorman wall, right? Everywhere I look, Jim.
Every room. You'll see
every room, even in the warehouse, I saw orange.
Absolutely.
I saw orange. Here's a picture of this unbelievable building that we're in, 400,000 square foot. And by the way, I have a little tease for you, G. We did an episode the last time I think we traveled. It was Vision of last year. And of course, we had you along with Dave Hobbs and Peter Orlando. And we
got shot.
Huh?
I got shot.
Yeah, you got shot. Exactly right. That's an inside. You got to listen to the episode. But let me tell you, my great takeaway from that episode is we were recording it at Vision. We were into it like 10 or 15 minutes, and I said, "Stop, guys! I forgot to turn on the record button."
That's right. I recall that.
And I said, and it was so good up to then. I says, "Do you think you could repeat the beginning?" And
that's right.
You guys were totally amazing, totally amazing. Hey, today G's going to come on. We're going to talk about training techs, whatever's on his mind. I gave G carte blanche to come here. Of course, the shop tour is going to actually be a great walkthrough of Dorman. And of course, I have a trivia question. And don't forget, this show becomes a podcast each and every Saturday morning, and right on the Remarkable Results Radio podcast stream. You can listen to it on Apple, Google, Spotify, iHeart, Amazon, wherever your preferences are. Here's the trivia for today. And if you know this, G, don't say anything until the very end. Which car was labeled the worst car in history? Thank you so much to all of our associations that we adore in our industry, like TST, Milwaukee, ASCCA, IGONC. Of course, ASTE is coming up this fall, AMI, Camp and Auto Care. We sure appreciate all the work that they do for our industry. And here is a great feature from Dorman.
Dorman consistently is looking for improved solutions to help save time and money for those who are performing the repairs. Dorman's all-in-one loaded backing plate solution does just that. With zero assembly required, you can now stop disassembling multiple pieces to make backing plate and e-brake repairs. Dorman's loaded backing plates deliver a complete solution. This assembly replaced all the failure-prone components by combining parking brake shoes and hardware onto the backing plate. The pre-mounted parking brake shoes, springs, and clips for a bolt and go solution. Want to know more about Dorman? Well, visit dormanproducts.com/tour. Hey, would you like to learn more about Dorman's innovations? Visit dormanproducts.com/tour.
Hey, everybody, okay, we're back. And of course, that's what happens when you're live, Jim G.
Stuff happens.
Stuff happens. So this week, today, a great new episode came out. Oh, that's right. I wanted to show you some pictures while we were out on the tour today. I took a picture of all these gizmos, and of course, maybe not everyone can see them. Jim, where was I standing there?
Sure, this isn't our innovation team, and this is actually a full-scale board of GMC Arcadia that we've taken every single module, every single component that's the entire electrical system of it and mounted it up on the board. So we use that for some of our R&D and be able to do some data logging and things like that off that board.
It was totally. I was mind blown by every step of the way. We took like a 2-hour tour, and every time I turned a corner, it was like a kid in a toy store. Gee, it was amazing.
We didn't want to leave the tour.
Here's where we were in. Remember, we were picking up all these. What were they? OE issues. There was a.
Yeah, there were OE issue parts that we were looking at down there.
And that was a great part of the tour. And I think I have one more picture here
With
quickly.
Lester? That's Lester.
Yeah. Oh. With Lester Kovacs, the ideation guy, and he was supposed to be here, but something came up. And we're resilient. We can do all this stuff. And Jim, thanks for being here.
No problem.
By the way, this was a phenomenal part of where your guys are building these 3D, you're printing
Components.
in 3D.
Right.
Yeah.
And that particular machine is called a what?
Can't tell from that.
All right,
picture.
well, it's kind of putting the laser in the liquid stuff.
right.
And to everyone in the industry, what I realized on this trip, and I think many of us in the industry realize, is that we're going to be able to do this stuff. You know, here it is. I picked up a classic vehicle, 1968 mirror.
A mirror.
And of course, no mirror on it, but the shell of it. Take it to get it chromed and done.
Yeah, because you can't buy the part.
You
This
can't
is
buy
what
the
Jay
part.
Leno does.
Yeah, I know.
With his stuff.
So
cool.
we saw that here, and it's so important for Dorman, and I think you're going to actually see part of the video coming up. Okay, yeah, and I don't know about anyone in the industry, but me, I love tours. I love to see how things are made, and boy, did I have that today. Today, a new episode came out from Mike Bennett, the CEO Commitment, a phenomenal episode. Mike leads a private, if you will, kind of 20 group of just CEOs that are building second in commands, and he also leads a COO group. You're going to really be rocked by that episode. And also last Friday, Mike Davidson, the Leadership Series Part 2. Mike is a John Maxwell certified teacher, trainer, and coach. It was a phenomenal episode. And this was one of the most interesting episodes we've done in a long, long time. Our industry needs a change. 4 business coaches came on, and they were rocking it, and they were on fire. And you need to listen to this, because so much of what they believe is wrong in our industry, and I think you may agree, this whole professionalism side was discussed, and it was incredible, so much fun. Well, look at G. Let's just share some thoughts and ideas that you have. I know you converted live to virtual for TST and all that you do. And I know you're a big component of what Dorman is doing to bring a lot of training out to the supplier network. Thanks for doing all of that. What do you see the future of training?
Well, I see the future. I think Dorman's on the right track. The virtual training is not going to go anywhere, Colin. It's going to be around maybe in a hybrid type of model, but we can reach so many people online, which is a real biggie. And we have it down where people are, asking questions, they're getting answers, and it's even on the TST side, it's becoming affordable for them because they don't have to travel. We've had a lot of people say, we were on at the big event. I like that I didn't have to pay airfare, hotel, and time. So that's a biggie. So I think virtual training is definitely here to stay. We can really upgrade a lot of people's skills by doing that. And we have some new stuff coming down the road that's going to make it more interactive.
What are you hearing from the technicians in the field? What do they want to be trained on?
Well, that's kind of a tough one. Electrical is always a biggie, even when TST Motor Age does.
So let's stop for a moment. Last night at the hotel, we were just sitting in the lobby, and darn it, you talked about your legacy and stuff, and it never fails that I hear trainers say you cannot not get enough of basic electric.
Absolutely correct.
I mean, if you don't have it today, you're probably stuck in the mud.
You're going to be in big trouble. Every system, and of course now with the ADAS system and all the computer networks, if you don't know electrical, you're doomed. You're doomed. You're going to go out of business. You need to, as I always say, update or evaporate.
Oh, by the way, that is my favorite quote of all time. Ever since I've known G, update or evaporate. I mean, I think you owned it. Isn't that trademarked?
No. But it's just so true. And if people really don't understand electricity, I mean, during the pandemic, I've done my own ATTS classes with electrical. We've done them through TST and, of course, through Dorman. In fact, tomorrow night, we have one through Dorman Products. So electrical is something that everyone needs. They just don't know they need it.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
So they don't know what they don't know. And I have a voltmeter. I could plug it in and get a reading, but it's more than that.
It's more than that. Every year with the Motor Age TST, we're always asked electrical. And it's amazing. We said, hold up, we've done this, I think, for 10 years. We've done one every single year. But I think once the vehicle is in front of someone and the problems become more sophisticated, where they can't just rely on that scan tool, the number one, tool used in the industry, they need to follow up. If that sensor's a problem, they put a new one in, right away the part's defective. Then it comes down to, they call a hotline. They need to know how to use that meter. They need to understand voltage drop, VD as I call it.
Did you ever label a class advanced electrical for the beginner?
Okay, I did.
and there's a reason to do that, so the people show up.
It's so hard to sell. If you say something is basic, it's just hard to get the people out there. So you got to say advanced, because when we look at our training, people want to go into like Bernie Thompson, who I mean, the guy's the smartest guy in our industry. They want to go to one of his classes, but if they do attend, I'd say the majority of them cannot utilize what he's teaching tomorrow. And not because Bernie's doing a bad job, he's doing a phenomenal job. But where is our industry? Okay, there's 85 to 90% that need basic stuff. They all want to be, hey, I'm great. I know all this stuff. They don't know what they don't know. This is a reason why parts get returned, where they think parts don't work. They don't understand the systems, and they really need to understand it. So electrical is something good. I mean, we have great people in this industry. Many want to learn. Many of their bosses don't want them to get to the next level. They want them to be a parts changer, or that word that you hate, the I word.
Oh, Yeah, I hate that word. Shall I say what that word is? Can anybody guess? Go on social media and type it in, the I word.
The I word.
The I word that
What
I
they-
hate.
They want to
All
call
right.
us.
Well, yeah. Yeah, put it in. If anyone's out there with us, and I'm sure, and if not, everybody watches this over and over again on the weekends, and of course on my website. And in fact, G, thank you for inciting, if you will, the electrical revolution again over and over in our people's ears. Every episode is archived, not only as a podcast. Again, you can hear it anywhere that podcasts are available, but even the videos in the shop tours that we normally do. Now, we're not doing a shop tour today. We're doing a tour of Dorman. Some really interesting stuff here coming up in just a few minutes. But remarkable results.biz/AW on the Aftermarket Weekly page is where all the tours are. We've been all over North America having so much fun. Tomorrow, believe it or not, I'm driving home, everyone, 6 hours tonight. And tomorrow at noon, we're going to do a great Carmcast on selling batteries. Two brand new voices to the podcast that have never been on before. These guys knock it out of the park as far as selling batteries, and I want to pick their mind. I want to find out why they're so successful with it. And coming up this Friday, again, as if I won't have just 3 live shows this week because I'm a glutton for love and punishment. Make Price Irrelevant, the Town Hall Academy. What is that, episode 228 weeks in a row, single subject topic. And there's 3 business coaches, Charlene Parlett, Malin Newton, and Kevin Vaught, are going to bring their wisdom. So we are now time to do our Dorman tour. Jim, so glad to have you here. Jim Lucas, the VP of Product. And we want to show a video that was kind of assembled from many of the current videos that you have in the tank, Jim. And we would love for you to get ready to narrate this for us. And I think we're going to get ready to put that up right now. Let's go with it.
All right. So just to kick it off, we're wide footprint that really covers the entire globe for all of our research and development. So here in Colmar is obviously our headquarters, where we have most of our product and engineering resources that develop the product for us. We have about 150 individuals here. But also, the world is global. It's just the nature that we live in today. So we have some folks in China, we have some folks in India, some folks in Taiwan. But really, it all comes back to this product structure, right? Where we have all these different product teams that are focused on these different systems. And it's really about becoming an expert in these different areas and bringing these products to market. So we have a chassis team, a body team, an engine team. And it's all about how do we get these ideas to market. So when we talk about our business, it doesn't matter really what the part is. It's more about, if it's failing, we want to bring it to the aftermarket. We want to have a solution for all you guys out there. So we have all these different ways we get these ideas. Lester's in charge of our ideation team, just pictured there in the right. And we'll find an idea anywhere. We'll jump in a dumpster to find a failed part, just to grab it, to get a failed one, just to see something, to get an idea.
I heard that today. I mean, I was so impressed with the culture and the people and the attitude that's going on inside the company and all the high-tech equipment that I saw. And again, Jim, I didn't mean to get in your way of narration, but I want to back you up on that. Incredible stuff. Oh, we think this is going to be bad. And, we went to the dealer and bought it, and now we're going to figure it out. And guys like G, and you have ambassadors out there,
right?
500 ambassadors.
Yes. So it's all about, I always joke, I sit in an office all day. How can I know what a good idea is? I need the feedback from the technicians in the field that are seeing this stuff failing day in and day out to give us that feedback so we know what to develop.
Yeah.
I'm nothing without you guys to understand how's it failing? What do we need to include? Does it need a gasket? Does it need an O-ring? Does it need a nut and bolt? What's it need so we can come up with a solution? I mean, you're looking at on right there, a valve cover that has an integrated PCV valve. Hey, we might be able to just do a repair kit. Just offer the PCV diaphragm, and you don't have to go back to the dealer and buy a whole new valve cover. Yeah. Conversely, it might not be serviceable, and we have to develop something wholly new. But if we don't have that feedback from the 500 folks out in the field giving it to us, how can we deliver the best part possible to the aftermarket? My
guest host last week, Bill Nalu, is an ambassador for Dorman, and ironically, Bill was on last week.
And, we just keep going through, and you highlighted some of this technology, but it's unbelievable the level of sophistication. And I think, it's really tough until you see it firsthand, but you see these folks using laser scanners, making sure that, this valve cover is exactly the same.
That was so cool. I saw that.
It's unbelievable.
I was just blown away by it.
And what's even cooler is it's not just the valve cover. We also get the cylinder head, and we can scan the cylinder head, so we can make sure all the mounting points are exactly right. Make sure that virtually you can design something, put it on the part virtually, do a try on virtually. And as long as the part, when you do it, get the manufacturing done, do the tooling, and it matches, you know you have a good part.
Well, there was a step in there that I learned about, and that was let's print it, 3D print.
Yep.
Make sure it fits.
It was that valve cover that
was
said
the
it
valve
took
cover.
70 hours to print that valve cover, but you had it in your hands. The gasket, you know, you guys put the gasket on it. It was amazing to see the work that went through in order to decide if you're going to actually build it.
Yeah, well, but you get to do that before you cut the tooling, right?
Right.
Tooling's very expensive. It's a huge expense for us. The reality is, you know, what we're doing is not a whole bunch of stuff. You know, you all find it off the shelf somewhere around the globe and bring it and put it in a box. We're cutting the tooling. We're doing the design. We're doing the IP. We're doing the research. We're doing the development. It's not just, oh, hey, they found something, threw it in a box and go. You can see these individuals are spending a tremendous amount of time making sure that whether it's an oil pan, something as simple as an oil pan, it's unbelievable how complex oil pans are all at the same time. Just the mating service has to be perfect.
These
The gasket
guys,
system,
these
everything's got to be
I
perfect.
think these guys felt like they were Luke Skywalker.
I think you're
Yeah,
right.
man, they're playing with lasers and
Honest to
stuff all
God.
day long.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
They loved what they were doing in all these innovation, all these technology rooms. And in fact, to take a rubber product from an OE fix and then discover exactly what the product is made out of in a mass spectrometer thing, which you have, it was just kind of blew me away.
And heating and cooling and
Yeah.
how the
Yeah.
rubber wouldn't work when
Yeah.
the ball dropped.
Yeah, yeah.
Just amazing. My second time on the tour, and I can't say enough.
I mean,
really interesting.
it's crazy too, because I think, you know, a lot of times, and even in our infancy, you know, a couple of decades ago, you know, your first thought is plastic is just plastic or rubber is just rubber. And then when you really start to get into understand the dynamics and the sets and all the different dynamics that go into all these things and the temperatures and the environments and all this stuff, we've really upped our game as, you know, we've learned and understood. And I think one of the greatest things is, and, you know, it's highlighted through this video, is we don't shy away from investment, right? If, you know, an engineer thinks something's cool that we should maybe be looking at and maybe a technology we should be investing in, we'll do that. We'll go, you know, buy the right scanner, buy the new thing, or buy we've had engineers get, you know, little 3D printers for their desks so they could print out, you know, some parts just for their own. I mean, it's just, that's the level that we'll get to just to get these guys to.
Very impressive.
We had this in our hands today, G. I think that
Yes,
that exact part. Yeah.
Correct.
And what's cool is, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a bunch of humans doing this still too. So their drawings might be slightly off. So we do a 3D print. We had one that we did a 3D print. You go to mate the part together. It didn't mate together anymore. And we're like, what happened? The print looked perfect. Everything looked perfect. 20 years ago, we would have sent that to a factory. We would have cut tooling. We would have done all those things, go to put it on the vehicle and be like, whoa, what happened?
Yeah.
Modify back and forth.
Yeah.
The time and the expense that is saved by doing this is,
You know
is
what I
incredible.
liked about that valve cover? You guys bought the OE gasket to make sure the fit was perfect.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that's important, to make sure all that lines up exactly what we're seeing there.
Yeah. Amazing stuff.
And as we continue to go through, so, you know, it's not, you know,
Salt water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
any-
Salt water.
any part, any type of failure we want to be testing for. So obviously this is for rust. You know, we have our shackles and our leaf spring brackets in here. It's all about, so it fails from rust. So we want to make sure ours doesn't rust, right? I mean, you just really try to understand all the way at the beginning when we start to do the design phase. How does it fail? We want the failed sample. How do we make it better? And then we want to make sure we're testing, make sure our part does, you know, do better, equal to or better than the OE. This one's cool. I don't know if you guys got to see the ball joint tester, but we actually simulate the ball joint getting an impact from a pothole just because of the loads that it'll take. So we're actually ripping apart ball joints to make sure that it'll withstand that load, that shock that you get there. So this machine's pulling it apart. I mean, it sounds like there's a cannon going off when this ball joint pops, but it really just helps us make sure that, you know, any component, safety, not quality, whatever, is exactly what it needs to be. So really we look at and you just see it just pop there.
Yeah, we didn't see that, but I can imagine that shop that we were in, that testing center, everything had its place. It was really so well run. I was amazed at all the different
And well staffed.
Yeah,
as well.
and well staffed. Yeah,
And I think it's cool that it's all right here, right? You're in Colmar, Pennsylvania,
It's
and
right
all
here.
the stuff happens here. We invest in all the labs. We invest in all the technology. This is some of our burst testing. This, I think, some intercooler boots and our fluid reservoirs. Again, it's just the level that we'll go into to make sure that the quality of the part's there. And then not only is it maybe that one dynamic of burst, but then we'll do the heat aging where I'm sure you saw the thermo chambers. They're going to pop up here in a second. Then you go back and burst the thermo chambered one after it went through all of the heat cycle testing. So really try to make sure we're hitting every single aspect of how these parts could possibly fail to make sure that when it gets in the technician's hands, they're not having a problem. Right.
And even flow testing. You have that new oil filter housing for the 3.6 motors. And they were flow testing it to see if it's the exact same as the OE. And really neat stuff.
That's a perfect example where we're upgrading from plastic to metal, right? So there's a whole bunch of different dynamics that go into that. We have to make sure that it's flowing right. It still cools the same way. It still has all the same properties. So we have most of those capabilities in-house. And if we don't, we'll go find it.
Yeah, very impressive.
So this is that thermo chamber we were talking about, and it just really it's amazing. This is, I think, negative 40 to 150. So really, if you're in Canada or down at the border, you really get that whole range of temperatures to make sure that these parts are holding up. So it's really everything we do goes through this, and this doesn't even include, we're doing the try-ons. We're putting them on the cars. We're doing the miles on it. We're working with those 500 technicians. We'll reach out to that group and say, hey, can you guys put this on to make sure everything's what we think it is? Window regulators. This is one, again, where, 15 years ago, they had their struggles, right? We would think something like a window regulator is relatively simple, but the different components, and you see the shock and the loads that this thing has to take, we have to make sure that our parts are going to withstand all of those types of rigors that they actually face. And we end up, did you guys get to see the doors?
Oh, yeah.
We have an entire barn, 2,000 doors sitting out there because every single window regulator we have the door for it.
And 10,000 duty cycles on the driver's side, 5,000 on the passenger side before you even release the product.
Absolutely. And we have by the door, make sure it fits. We want to use used doors because you guys would be installing in a used car, right? So the used rubber, the used stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. And this is some of the cool stuff that we fixed, right? I mean, we get into, we love to be innovative. We love to do the right solution. We love to come out with
It's the
stuff.
Dorman garage. We were
That's
in
right.
there
That's
full
the
of
real-
lifts so that you can actually put the product on yourself.
Right. And this is, even we'll look at, something as old as an old CK pickup truck. People still love those trucks. They're still floating around. Maybe not in the north, but down in the south, they're still around. We're going to have fixes for it.
Yeah,
So.
cool. Excellent. Thank you for letting us come down and G being here. And of course, Jim Lucas, VP of Product, 20 new parts a day. I mean, is that true or is it higher?
Well, you've seen it, so between those
Oh my
10
God.
teams, it's really happening.
I've never seen so much stuff. Contributors and worldwide 2,800. Is that team members? Is that extended ambassadors and everything?
That's just Dorman contributors. That's just Dorman folks that are, and that's through the whole. Whether they're folks working in the warehouse, all the way through the entire organization. That's globally. That's everybody that we have working on a Dorman product.
And over 81,000 unique products. And of course, this company is no slouch, be it at least the last time I looked, $1.1 billion. Hey, thanks. This was great. I loved it. Let's finish up the trivia, everyone. So which car was labeled the worst car in history? What do you think?
Edsel.
Oh, okay. Any idea, Jim? All right.
Pinto.
Here's your answer.
Yugo.
Yeah, of course.
The Yugo was marketed in the United
How could I
States
forget that?
from 1985 to 1992 by Malcolm Bricklin, actually, with a total of 141,000 sold, peaking at 48,087 and falling to 1,400 cars in 1992. Wow. And so my question to everybody, did you ever work on a Yugo, G?
I did, I think, once or twice.
Once or twice. Anyway,
Block that out.
that was cool. Hey,
Almost as bad as a Renault.
Yeah. Next week, we're going to be with Chris Clodier, who's my guest host, and a mystery tour. Next week, we're still working on locking something down. So this was great. Thanks to G. Trulia from ATTS, TST, of course, the work you do here with Dorman, And of course, the TST big event, which was virtual this past year, wasn't it?
It was, and this coming year will be live.
I can't.
In 2022.
I bet
should
you
say.
can't wait.
I can't wait.
And of course, Sarah Warner, Mark Van Tresca from Dorman, and of course, Jim for being here with us, Jim Lucas, VP of Product. And if you want us to do a tour of your place, we'd love to do it. Just contact me at carm@remarkableresults.biz. And don't forget to watch all the episodes on the archive channel. Thanks, everyone.